President Donald Trump repeated some misleading claims this week as he made the rounds on conservative radio talk shows, delivered a speech to a conservative group and held a press conference with the Senate Republican leader. So, we decided for this week to bring back Groundhog Friday, a weekly staple of the 2016 campaign that highlighted claims that continue to be repeated even after we have debunked them. Trump on his proposed border wall with Mexico, October 16 press conference. Drugs are pouring across our border. We're stopping it, but we need a wall to really stop it. Trump has made this as a talking point. But, in fact, the Mexican cartels transport the bulk of their drugs undetected through legal ports of entry, such as border vehicle checkpoints, the Drug Enforcement Administration said in a 2015 report. The drugs are typically secreted in hidden compartments when transported in passenger vehicles or commingled with legitimate goods when transported in tractor-trailers, the report said. The DIA report adds that drugs are also transported in cargo trains, small boats, ultralight aircraft and occasionally, through subterranean tunnels. In August, Vanda Felber-Brown, a senior fellow at the Brookings Institution, wrote an essay that said a barrier in the form of a wall is increasingly irrelevant to the drug trade as it is now practiced because most of the drugs smuggled into the U.S. from Mexico no longer arrive on the backs of those who cross illegally. The wall won't stop the flow of drugs into the United States, Felber-Brown told us in an email when we wrote about this in August. Will Trump's wall stop drug smuggling? August 30, 2017. Trump on who benefits from his proposed tax cuts, October 17 on SiriusXM Patriot 125. The big beneficiaries are the middle class. I call it the working people, but the big beneficiaries are the middle class. Trump is referring to the Republican tax plan that was negotiated between the White House and GOP congressional leaders and released on September 27, but the Tax Policy Center, a nonpartisan think tank, found that most of the benefits of the tax cut go to the top 1%. The GOP plan would eliminate or reduce taxes that largely benefit the wealthy. It would, among other things, cut the corporate tax rate from 35% to 20%, abolish the alternative minimum tax, which is designed to ensure that the most wealthy taxpayers pay a minimum tax, collapse the 7 income tax brackets, ranging from 10% to 39.6%, to 12%, 25% and 35%, and eliminate the estate tax. In a preliminary analysis of the GOP framework, the TPC found that 80% of the benefit of the tax cuts would go to the top 1% of income earners by 2027. Howard Gleckman, a senior fellow with TPC, called it a major tax cut for businesses and the very highest income Americans and only a small tax cut for middle-income households. Individually, middle-income taxpayers, the middle of 5 income groups, when ranked from poorest to wealthiest, would see mixed results. In 2018, the framework would cut taxes for moderate-income households by an average of $660, or 1.2% of their after-tax income, Gleckman wrote. But not everyone would win. In 2018, about 1 in 7 middle-income households would pay an average of $1,000 more in taxes under this plan. By 2027, more than 1 of every 4 middle-income families would pay more in taxes. For the highest earners, those in the top 1% and top 0.1%, nearly all would see lower taxes. 90% of the top 1%, those earning about $900,000 and above in 2027, would get a tax cut, averaging $234,050. Trump made similar remarks in a speech in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania on October 11, in an interview with Mike Huckabee on Trinity Broadcasting Network on October 7, and an interview on Fox Radio with Brian Kilmeade on October 17. A tax hike or benefit for the middle class. October 12, 2017, Trump on economic growth in second quarter of 2017. October 17, in a speech at the Heritage Foundation, GDP growth reached more than 3.2% last quarter, and people said it would take years to get there. Trump misrepresents the facts when he claims that people said it would take years for the nation's real gross domestic product to reach 3.2% for a quarter. First, it was 3.1% in the last quarter, not 3.2%, according to the Bureau of Economic Analysis, but, more importantly, it is not unusual or surprising for the U.S. economy to experience quarterly growth of 3.1%. The real GDP grew by 3.1% or better 8 times in 8 years under President Obama, most recently at 3.2% in the first quarter of 2015. During that time, it reached a high of 5.2% in the second quarter of 2014. In August, when we first wrote about this, Trump boasted about the second quarter advance estimate, which was 2.6% at the time. It has since been revised up to 3.1%. At that time, Trump described the 2.6% estimate as an unbelievable number and a number that nobody thought they'd see for a long period of time. Trump's GDP puffery, August 1, 2017. Fact-checking Trump's tax speech, August 31, 2017. Categories: The Wire people. Donald Trump issues healthcare and health insurance. The author Rosie Nagel, Mark Schrackman, and Zoe Stern.